Welcome back to Worth Preserving. I'm Kate Wood. So one of the questions that I get asked most often by homeowners, how do you add a modern bathroom to an old house without destroying its character-defining features? The modern idea of a bathroom, as in one room where you have sort of the three basic fixtures, a toilet, you've got a sink, and you've got a shower or a bathtub. You're washing yourself and you're, let's say, eliminating all in the same space. That is a modern idea. Most houses before the 21st century did not combine all those things into one space. So you might have a water closet, which, there were functional toilets as early as, the beginning of the 19th century, but you would wash in your bedroom, let's say. So you've seen those beautiful antique wash stands that have like the ceramic pitcher and the mirror. So people were washing their faces, their hands. That all was happening in the bedroom. If they were taking a bath, that often happened in the kitchen because that's where hot water was. But not everyone was bathing in the regular way that we expect today. So it made sense that these things would be spread out between private places throughout the house. Some of the things that gave us the bathroom as we know it today, technology, definitely. Think about all the things that go into having what we think of as a bathroom. So you need running water, you need hot water, you need a flushing toilet and a sewer system of some kind. So these are all technologies that were being developed throughout the 19th century. And of course, it was the wealthier people in towns, in cities, who got these technologies first. In a rural area, some of these things didn't come in until well into the 20th century. When we're looking at trying to adapt a historic house to the 21st century, of course, we're not going to go back to, the outhouse in the backyard, which was what a lot of people had until relatively recently. This is the definition of historic rehabilitation. It's taking an old house that could be 100, 200, 300 years old and bringing in that later technology. These houses have evolved over time. Very rarely do we see a house that is a pristine example of what it was when it was first built. So bathrooms, kitchen, lighting, all of these different systems have been added to these houses over time. When we're trying to bring an old house into the 21st century, we have to be mindful of the fact it has already undergone significant change over time. So updating an old house with a new bathroom is part of that story. It's part of that evolution. So the first question to ask is, are the bathrooms in your house either original or are they historic? Do they help define the character of your house? If they were added maybe in the last 20 or 30 years, I would say you've got a lot of room to make new design choices. If it is historic in some way and has beautiful tile fixtures, old toilets, old tubs, historic faucets, or other kinds of hardware, those are important features to try to reincorporate into a new bathroom. A lot of times what people try to do is add more bathrooms to an old house. A house having more than one fully functioning bathroom, even wealthy people might only have one, maybe two bathrooms in their house. Our expectations today are very different. We want to have a bathroom for every person who lives in our house, or at least for every bedroom in our house. And we want to have a powder room downstairs, and we want to have that separation of bathrooms that are there for guests to use and bathrooms for the family to use. So a lot of times people are trying to add bathrooms to old houses. So then you have to ask yourself, well, what spaces lend themselves to adding bathrooms. A lot of times it's a small bedroom, and you see that a lot. You see old houses that have bathrooms added, let's say in the early part of the 20th century, and they took a small bedroom and they turned that into a bathroom. Or they took a closet or a pantry downstairs and turned that into a powder room. You have to figure out what's the best use of space, what rooms could lend themselves to having a new bathroom. And then you have to think about how to get the plumbing to that space, because that's a whole other question, because you don't want to create a lot of bump outs and chases where plumbing is going through, your dining room, and you have to create, a soffit up by the ceiling, and that interrupts your crown molding. I mean, these are all considerations for how to route that plumbing to where it needs to go, which is usually the basement, and then out to either a septic system or the sewer system. If you're creating a new bathroom in your house, or if you're renovating a fairly recent bathroom, and this is a gut, then the question is, what should it look like? What kinds of design choices should you be making? In my mind, bathrooms are part of an evolution in a house. So the idea that you need to try to restore it back to a particular moment in time, that's an aesthetic choice. I think if you want to do a modern bathroom in that, all of the finishes are contemporary and it looks like, it was clearly designed in the 2020s, I won't argue with you. I think you could do a beautiful bathroom in an old house that looks like nothing that has ever gone before it. And that will be part of your house's story. And it's the chapter that you write for it. Here in the 19th century farmhouse, we're going to look at two very different approaches to bathroom aesthetics. So here we are in our early 20th century bathroom. Now remember, this bathroom was not here when this rehab project started. That's not true. So there was a bathroom here, but it didn't look anything like this, except for this beautiful tub. So I would date this tub to probably the 1920s. It goes all the way to the ground. It has this beautiful curve to it. It's a corner tub, so it tucks into the wall. So it's kind of a precursor of the built-in bathrooms that came a little bit later. It had this original hardware here, which still works. Our plumber was a little worried about touching that, but it hasn't broken so far, so we've kept it. I love the water stain patina on it. We did add a new shower with an exposed valve here, so all that is behind the wall is just the supply lines for the water, but everything else is exterior, which when plumbing was a relatively new thing, people wanted to show off their hardware, so you wouldn't hide it behind the wall. We took the tile really high on the walls with this nice P-cap around the top. And it's got this kind of glassy, varied color and crackle finish. So it looks like the tile could have been here since 1910. It's new tile, but that was the look that we were trying to achieve, as though this was the first bathroom that was ever added to this 19th century farmhouse. The other tile that we added to this bathroom was this mosaic tile floor. So these square tiles that actually come in sheets, but then you can kind of break them up into different patterns, and you take like the little green tiles and you insert them, and the yellow tiles, and this is just a classic, kind of flower field. And then this almost Greek key kind of border that goes around the whole room. Now this is unglazed tile, so you see how it does get a little dirty, and we kept the grout dark so that it would kind of make it look like that it has some age to it. So that I like personally, if you wanted it to be kind of easier to keep pristine and white. You could get a glazed tile and it would just have a shinier finish to it. I like the matte. So in this bathroom, we don't have any kind of built-in cabinetry. We do have this freestanding piece. Again, we're early in the 20th century, before you have these fully fitted bathrooms, the way you think of, from the 50s and later. So this is a lovely early 20th century pedestal sink. You see how it's got that nice column, fluted column detail at the bottom, this big wide oval basin. One thing that this sink does not have, it does not have an overflow. So, in the past, this waste kind of drain closer would have been operable and you would have been able to close the drain. These days, you're supposed to have an overflow so that it's not gonna, spill out over the rim of the sink and flood your bathroom. It's supposed to have, a hole that the water can go down. So we no longer use that, so you can't actually plug this sink and fill it, but we wanted to keep that detail of the sink. And the way to navigate that was to get what is called a bridge faucet. We use the original 3 holes. This one is just decorative. The other 2 holes, where in the past you might have had 2 taps, so hot water and cold water. Now it's a single faucet. A lot of people don't like having to mix the hot and cold water with their hands. They want to have what's, the mixer faucet like this, but it bridges over so we could keep that, and it's just a nice solution. Again, a vintage tub and bath purchase. In this bathroom, they actually still make the kind of tile that could have originally been used in the 1930s for an Art Deco bathroom. This is just plain 4-inch square dowel tile in this really jazzy blue color with these black accents. The spiral pattern in the mosaic floor, still very popular. You can get this really anywhere. The tub we actually repurposed from another bathroom in the house, but this idea of having a built-in wall-to-wall tub is, a more modern idea instead of the freestanding clawfoot tub. The wall-mounted sink with the chamfered corners we relocated from another place in the house. And this great medicine cabinet with the side lights on it, that came from Fed-On Lights in Saugerties, New York. So again, 2 very different approaches to bathrooms in the same house. And the fact that one bathroom is kind of early 20th century and one is moving on towards the middle of the 20th century, it mirrors the evolution of this house and helps to underscore the story that it's telling. I'm also going to take you inside my own home, which was my very first historic rehab project. This was an abandoned house that needed everything. It did not have an upstairs bathroom at all, so we took a bedroom, a small bedroom, we made it into a bathroom, but we kept it very minimal. So I'm going to take you into a room that not that many people have seen, but it is one of my favorite rooms that I've ever done, and this is the bathroom in the house that I live in the Hudson Valley. This was the first rehab project that we did. This is an example of taking a smallish bedroom and converting it into what we would think of as a comfortable 21st century bathroom. And it's about as simple as it can possibly be. You've got your essential fixtures, the toilet, the sink, the tub, and the shower. But otherwise, it's really just a room. We kept the wood floor, so no tile in this bathroom. This toilet, anybody who ever sees this toilet asks me, where did you get that? It's not vintage. It is a new toilet that was made in the early 2000s, but it's got this beautiful pillbox shape, and I really love toilets that have the tank that's separate from the bowl, and we chose to put a wooden seat on it. So it does have that early 20th century feel to it. Of course, the pedestal sink, no built-in vanity. You can see the plumbing, it's all exposed. We did get the faucet from Vintage Tub and Bath, just a basic nickel finish to it, and this gorgeous clawfoot tub, which is in beautiful, beautiful condition. We found it at Zaborski Emporium, architectural salvage in Kingston. You know, it has very few nicks or dings, so we felt incredibly lucky to find it. It's a big 5-foot tub, you know, nice and wide, and you know, this is Vintage Tub and Bath shower enclosure that we added with this, you know, the curtain that wraps around it, but it's freestanding in the corner of the room. Somebody had to bring it up the stairs, which was a fun project. People love the look of a wood floor in a bathroom and also in a kitchen. It is a choice that you need to make conscientiously, though, because you know, you can get engineered wood floors that are pretty good with water. Here we had the original floor. We did a water-based finish on it, knowing that as water dripped, you know, from the shower, you know, somebody reaches for their towel, the floor gets wet. If you don't clean it up right away, it's going to show the water. We like that look, that kind of wear pattern in the bathroom. If you want to keep your floors in pristine condition, you're going to have to use a different type of flooring. You can still get that wood look, but you're just not going to be able to do it the way that we did it in here. Little special details like this hole, knot hole in the wood that at some point somebody had covered up with actually the top of a tin can that they just hammered in place to cover that. So our goal in doing these bathrooms was to make them so that they could last for a long time. They're not going to go in or out of style. But it could be that someone in the future decides that they need a different kind of bathroom in this house. From personal experience, I know that with my aging mother, we had to take a bathroom and remove the clawfoot tub and put a walk-in shower in there. So these are things that, again, these are spaces that evolve continually over time. They adapt to homeowners' needs. And so that's why I think that there is some flexibility in the design. I hope that these bathrooms last a long, long time. But again, if the house is going to change, this is probably one of the places where that change will happen first. So I hope this video has inspired and empowered you to think about bathrooms as a place where you can honor the history of your old house and also add your story as the next chapter in its story. So thank you so much for watching, and please make sure to hit the button, subscribe, so that you get notifications every time we upload a new video.